The world stands on the brink of a new kind of conflict. This is not fought with soldiers and tanks, but with tariffs and financial restrictions. The economic war between Russia and the West has transformed global landscapes. The West, led by the United States and the European Union, has imposed severe economic sanctions on Russia. These sanctions aim to cripple Russia's economy and force political change. However, Russia is not a passive victim. It has launched its own set of countermeasures. The global economy feels the shockwaves as trade routes shift and markets react. This essay will unpack the various layers of this economic conflict. Through this lens, we can better understand the strategies at play. The origins of the economic sanctions against Russia are deeply rooted in geopolitical tensions. The annexation of Crimea in 2014 by Russia was a significant turning point. This event triggered a series of sanctions from the West. They targeted key sectors of the Russian economy, including finance, energy, and defense. The goal was to create economic pain that would force political concessions. Russia viewed these sanctions as acts of aggression. In response, it sought to bolster its own economic resilience. Russia increased trade with non-Western countries, notably China and India. This move was an attempt to mitigate the impact of Western sanctions. Thus, the stage was set for a prolonged economic standoff. The Western strategies against Russia are multifaceted and well-coordinated. Economic sanctions are just one part of a broader strategy. The West employs diplomatic isolation and military deterrence alongside economic measures. Financial sanctions target Russia's banking sector, making it difficult for Russian banks to operate globally. Trade sanctions restrict exports of key technologies to Russia. The West has imposed travel bans and asset freezes on Russian officials and oligarchs. These measures are designed to create internal dissent within Russia's elite circles. Institutions like the United Nations and the World Trade Organization play roles in legitimizing and enforcing sanctions. NATO's military presence in Eastern Europe serves as a deterrent against further Russian aggression. Despite these measures, the effectiveness of Western strategies remains a subject of debate. The complexity of this economic war makes it difficult to predict definitive outcomes. Faced with stringent Western sanctions, Russia has had to adapt quickly. The Russian government implemented strict fiscal policies. It also increased its foreign currency reserves. These measures helped cushion the immediate impact of the sanctions. Additionally, Russia turned to alternative markets. It strengthened economic ties with China, India, and other non-Western nations. This diversification aimed to reduce dependence on Western economies. Russia began producing goods domestically that were previously imported. This was especially evident in the agricultural and technology sectors. By becoming more self-reliant, Russia aimed to mitigate the long-term effects of the sanctions. The government also provided support to industries hit hardest by the sanctions. This included financial aid and subsidies to key sectors like energy and defense. Russia leveraged its vast reserves of oil and natural gas to negotiate favorable trade deals. Additionally, Russia has explored cryptocurrency as a means to bypass traditional financial systems. Despite these efforts, challenges remain, but Russia's resilience indicates it is prepared for a long-term standoff. The economic war between Russia and the West has far-reaching global implications. The sanctions have disrupted trade routes and supply chains, affecting the global market. Europe relies heavily on Russian energy supplies. Sanctions have led to increased energy prices and instability in the energy market. The financial markets have also felt the effects, with stock markets around the world experiencing increased volatility. Emerging markets are particularly vulnerable, facing the dual challenge of increasing energy costs and reduced foreign investment. Agriculture is another sector significantly impacted, as Russia and Ukraine are major exporters of grain. The conflict and sanctions have disrupted these exports, leading to increased food prices globally. Developing countries, in particular, feel the brunt of these price hikes. The ripple effect underscores the interconnected nature of the modern global economy. To understand the current economic war, it is helpful to look at historical parallels. The Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union offers valuable insights. During the Cold War, economic sanctions were a key tool used by the West. Similar to today, the sanctions targeted key sectors like energy and defense. However, there are significant differences between then and now. The global economy is far more interconnected today, and the impact of sanctions is felt more widely. The rise of new economic powers like China adds complexity to the current situation. The Cold War was primarily a bipolar conflict, while today's economic war involves multiple players with diverse interests. Economic conflicts can have unintended and far-reaching consequences. By examining these historical contexts, we can better understand the potential outcomes of the current economic war. Looking ahead, the future of the economic war between Russia and the West remains uncertain. Both sides have shown resilience and adaptability. The West is likely to continue its strategy of economic pressure. Sanctions may become more targeted and sophisticated. Russia will continue to seek ways to mitigate the impact of sanctions. Strengthening economic ties with non-Western countries will be a key strategy. Russia may invest more in emerging technologies like blockchain and artificial intelligence. The global community will also play a crucial role. Continued economic conflict could lead to prolonged global economic instability. Diplomatic negotiations and compromises could pave the way for a more stable global economy. The economic war between Russia and the West is a multifaceted and complex conflict. It stems from deep geopolitical tensions and has far-reaching global implications. Both sides employ a range of strategies to outmaneuver each other. The West uses economic sanctions as a primary tool, while Russia adapts and counters with its own measures. The impact of this conflict is felt globally, affecting markets, trade routes, and political alliances. Historical parallels provide valuable insights, but also highlight the unique aspects of the current situation. The interconnected nature of today's global economy adds layers of complexity. As we look to the future, the outcomes remain uncertain. Diplomacy and strategic planning will be crucial in navigating this uncertain future. Understanding the dynamics of this economic war is essential for policymakers, businesses, and citizens alike.